So, I think I've covered Last Night in Soho before on this channel, and I think I put across in podcasts and in various platforms online I really like this movie, but I think it's important. I want to try and break this movie down. Obviously, it's not going to be a long breakdown. I want to try and look at it from a slightly different viewpoint, because a lot of critiques about it were about the fact that people felt it was sexist, and it was anti-sex workers, and it was removing agency from the female characters, and also coming across as a bit sexless, which does kind of fit Edgar Wright's filmography to an extent, where he's not particularly interested in romance per se, and it's the weakest part of his movies, and the female characters aren't always particularly well formed. Obviously, in this movie, he's working with Christy Wilson-Cairns, so I've got the name wrong, the co-writer of 1917. So he's working with a very, very, very good writer, not just a good female writer, a very good writer in general. And I think that aspect has softened some parts of Edgar Wright's filmography. He's trying to make it, he co-wrote this movie with her, obviously, and the direction of it, he's trying to make something a bit more female-focused. Obviously, I think there are portions where it's not particularly successful. I'm guessing that Thomasin McKenzie, and Anne Taylor-Joy added their own elements to it, and probably tried. It's difficult, really, because I think I enjoy this. I really like this movie because I think it plays on the Gallo archetypes that people were quite critical of time. And it does try that, but a definite case can be that it's not necessarily a movie which... this is where it's frustrating, because I love it, but I can recognise that there's gaping flaws, and one of them is that, as I said earlier, Edgar Wright is not a director who's particularly good at dealing with sexuality of characters. Now, it's not necessarily knock on him as a director, because that's not something. It's a bit like Quentin Tarantino. That's not something they're interested in terms of visually or cinematically. But it does mean that you get a movie like this, and it feels like it's not that it should be sexually objectifying per se, but it doesn't feel like these characters do feel, to an extent, a bit Lego-y, where it's I'll put it another way. When you're watching something like Boogie Nights, for example, Boogie Nights is dripping. Now, it's not necessarily Boogie Nights is a sexy movie. It's just that it's a movie dripping with sexuality. And I feel like this feels like it doesn't want to... Like, for example, when Sandy is with Jack at the start, and at the start of their relationship, you don't get vibe... The dance sequence is really, really cool, don't get me wrong, but, she's meant to be seduced by him, and it doesn't feel like she is. It doesn't feel like the movie is comfortable going there, but you have to go there. You have to show it. And I think the movie is kind of apprehensive about it, about being offensive, or seems offensive, and that's the downside to it. It's very similar to Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, where it's it's taking a subgenre archetype. In this context, the gallows sort of archetype. But Gallo movies are, they feel nastier, they feel sleazier. This doesn't feel nasty and sleazy, particularly. Oh my god, I guess I'm going back on my view of the movie. But it doesn't feel nasty or sleazy. It feels like kind of watered down to an extent. And it's weird because I know Edgar Wright in terms of his nature. I'm sure he's watched hundreds of Gallo movies and hundreds of warped things, but maybe it's just this person, he doesn't have the ability to tap into that side. Not to say I think it's a bad movie. I love this movie. I'm just saying it feels like they were trying not to be seen as objectionable, and in some cases you need to just go, fuck it, I'm making a movie, I'm going to make a movie, and come what it may. And I feel and the other thing is, with the other movies he's made, they've all had more comedic elements, but this one doesn't. So maybe that's why people weren't quite so enamoured with it, because it didn't have quite the sharp wit of something like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz or Baby Driver or some of its other ones like that. Now, it shouldn't necessarily have that wit, but there is some repetition here, and obviously it does tie in with Gallo movies and things like that, but it feels to an extent like it doesn't commit completely. So I guess I'm a bit more critical of this movie than thought I'd be. Still really like it. Great music sequences, great visually. Just, maybe it's something to think about.